Hey, I'm Rasalcon. Welcome to my personal top 10 songs of 2019. This was supposed to be out a week ago, but I'm a lazy fucker. I hope you find something in this list you resonate with, but if you don't, well, fuck you, I guess. Anyway, let's quickly get the rules for the list out of the way. 1. One song per artist. I don't want to make a list with the 3 bands on. 2. I must have listened to it for the first time in 2019. I was going to have this be a list of songs released in 2019, but I felt that kind of list missed a lot of my biggest influences this year. Now then, to start off my list, we have my number 10, Star of Collapse by Iapetus. There was always going to be one ludicrously long, insanely intense Megadeth song on this list. The reason I chose Iapetus over the more well-known Neoliviscaris is I would have had to have chosen a song from Urn, which doesn't really do a whole lot for me in general. They're good songs, but not anything special, you know? The Body Cosmic, on the other hand, scratches just the right itch. This is quite possibly the most intense song I've ever heard. 18 straight minutes of nuclear explosion. That being said, if this list was best songs of 2019, Star of Collapse would be in the top 3. The reason it's only number 10 is I'm quite new to more extreme Megadeth, and I'm not sure just how long this kind of impact is going to last. It feels like a bit of a dead end. Like, where do you go from a song like this? For now though, this song rules, and if you don't like having your brain ruptured, try Huddy and Heart off the same album. It's not quite so mind-melting. The issue of how far can we go with this style of music is not a problem for my number 9 pick, Magnanimous by Obsidian Tide. I love progressive metal, and I'm constantly on the lookout for new prog metal bands to binge like the junkie I am. And while Obsidian Tide feels a bit immature, the potential I see here is colossal, and Magnanimous is a stunning example of what can be done when you have just the right mix of talent and ambition. The song is a full story in and of itself, while also being a superb ending to a great concept album. This is how music should be written, in my opinion, a full piece on its own, but also part of something greater. And then there's, as my dad put it, the surprise sax. The saxophone's a bold thing to use in a metal song, but damn is the timing perfect. Even without that though, this would probably be my favourite song on Pillars of Creation. It's such a headbanger. The monstrous guitar riffs on this song are awesome. That is something that can also be said for the next song on my list. Number 8, Lunacy by CERN. Can you hear me? Is it time to walk again? I first listened to CERN back in 2018 when my dad recommended... Hang on, let me get this. Fractiones? The second song on Cognitive. I liked it a lot and listened to the rest of the album, but I was a little disappointed. It felt a bit samey. I didn't get it. Then, in early 2019, YouTube recommended me the official video for Martyrs. I liked it again, and again I listened to the album it was from, Lotus. It was okay until Lunacy came on, and then everything clicked. Suddenly I understood. Lunacy is not my favourite CERN song, it's not even my favourite from Lotus, but it was the song that got me into them. Plus, Lunacy has the best chorus of any CERN song, and I will actually fight you IRL for that. The story of the next song on this list is somewhat similar. I liked one song from one album that I had been recommended, this time by a YouTube comment on a CERN video. Number 7, Ambitions by Catatonia. Unlike Lunacy, Ambitions is my favourite Catatonia song. It is the greatest masterpiece of one of the most consistent bands I've ever heard. Catatonia has a formula that works beautifully, and I envy those for who that sound is the ideal. I don't feel that it's my perfect sound. I just ain't goth enough to drool at the mention of the name. However, I am goth enough to sing along enthusiastically. Ambitions itself isn't anything particularly special, other than the fact that it's the best song they've ever come up with. That chorus is just so brilliant, and I think that a big part of why Catatonia's sound works so well is the juxtaposition between the vocals and the guitars. Very often the vocals are laid back and relaxed while the guitars do whatever the guitars want to do, I guess. And they often use strings and piano in ways that I very much enjoy. Sing a song for the ones who never made it. Now, for something completely different. Number 6, The Bell by I Am the Morning. I am attracted to extremes in all things, though of course, as my greatest attraction, the divide is largest in music. And the keyboard, and piano in particular, is the key to the gentler side of my tastes. I Am the Morning is a particularly great muse of mine, mixing pensive beauty of classical music and the dark melancholy of prog rock. My choice of the title track from their newest album is less for a specific reason and more because they needed to be on here, somewhere. And The Bell is them at their most gentle, filling a gap that the list really needed. It's also outrageously beautiful, which does help a fair bit. However, don't take them as a one-trick pony. If you don't really like The Bell, they have some very different compositions, even on the same album. Fly now, my soul, fly far from home. While the next song is also very much driven by the piano, its mood is very different. Number 5, The Grotta by Opeth. Incauda Venenum is chock full of great songs, any of which could have been on this list. The Grotta stands out, however, as something totally unlike anything else Opeth have ever done. That wobbly piano and the shuffle drums, the stark, marauding evil that pervades every creepy background sound. This sounds more like a Steven Wilson work than an Opeth one. I've zero problems with that, of course. As an aside, jazz is a genre of music that I've only lightly skimmed, with most of the stuff I've liked being fusion songs. And of those, The Grotta was the first to make me think about listening to pure jazz. Not that I have, but it is the thought that counts, right? This next song taught me a great deal, but the most important lesson I learned was that all you need for a true masterpiece, a good drum beat and compelling words. Number 4, The Final Truth by Lunatic Soul. So easy to forget, removed from consciousness, On paper, The Final Truth is a very simple song. Drums, synths, vocals, and nothing else. In practice, it's a one-of-a-kind work of art that will never be repeated. The first two Lunatic Soul albums are a loose story of death and rebirth, focusing on a single character. The Final Truth takes those abstract themes and brings them into sharp focus by giving the main character, and by extension the listener, an ultimatum. Have your mind be wiped clean of all that makes up you, or be removed from the minds of all you ever cared about. And if you want to know what the story's protagonist chooses, you've got to listen to Suspended in Whiteness, which was actually the first Lunatic Soul song I thought of when making this list. Just listen to all of Lunatic Soul, it's awesome. Quickly back to The Final Truth. Slow, long build-ups are my thing, and this is absolutely a personal choice. I very nearly put on the title track from the title album, but the thing about that is, although it is the greatest masterpiece of Lunatic Soul, it's also just the greatest masterpiece of Lunatic Soul. There's nothing special about it other than its greatness. Whereas The Final Truth is something so radically different from everything else that you kind of just have to get stuck in. And I'm never going to get bored of it, for sure.
When I met the ferryman, he smiled to me. Could swear I saw this smile before. You have to choose, he said, and then you met.
Speaking of a sound that I'm probably never going to get bored of, number 3, Esquire de Lune, Part 2 by Alceste. I was first recommended Alceste by a work colleague who had similar taste in music to me. Long story short, I saw them live recently in London, and I must say, Nij's voice sounds as good or even better live. Absolutely stunning. I've never heard anything quite like it. The reason I chose Part 2 is I feel it encompasses everything I love about Alceste's sound, from the long sweeping guitar riffs to intense blast sections to the gentle melodies, and all of that with a feeling of euphoria few bands can match for even 10 seconds. And on this song, it's pretty much the full 10 minutes. While I think Spiritual Instinct is probably Alceste's best album, that is through consistency, not through individual brilliance on a single song. Esquire de Lune Part 2 is Alceste's crowning jewel, and it is a must listen for any metal fan. Speaking of metal fans, you are not a true metal fan until you've listened to this list's number 2. Add Reality by Dan Swano. This spot is more for Moontower as a whole album than any one song from it. Moontower has changed my view of music in a way that only Steve Wilson and Mickey Lagerfeld have done before. However, they did it by showing me that my thoughts on music were fundamentally incomplete. Moontower did it by showing me that progressive metal wasn't just a genre of music I enjoyed listening to, but a genre of music that I wanted to make myself. And while I'm still far from that dream, Moontower is always there to remind me of why I chose to go down this path, and I've still yet to find a comparable album by Swano or anybody else. As for why Add Reality, it's my most listened to song according to Spotify, and we all know that's the be-all end-all of music taste.
So much shine to give friend, if I could do it all again.
Now, before we get on to my number 1 pick, some songs that were on this list at some point but I removed for various reasons. Blood Coloured by Edge of Sanity. It's just a branch of what I listen to from Moontower. Moontower is more important. Ship on Fire by Zealanada. Great song, but not my kind of music that I want to really take anything away from. It's just a great thing on its own. This Godless Endeavour by Nevermore. Awesome, awesome piece of music. Black Feather by Continuum, brilliant song, fantastic blending of a more gentle, ethereal shoegaze sound with a metal edge. There isn't really a reason why this isn't on here. It'd probably be the one that I would put on if I was going to remove something from this list. Lost Within by Forest of Shadows, fucking awesome song. The rest of Forest of Shadows stuff is a bit drony though. It goes on a bit too long for me. Generally I feel Lost Within gets done what every other song of theirs gets done in a third the normal time. Tempest by Tool, mind-blowing song, but there's nothing special here by Tool standards, so it goes. And Chua Oto by Kokia. One of these songs is not like the others. And finally, I had to end this with the actual best song from the actual best album of the year. My number one favourite song both from and in and of 2019, For Another Lifetime. I like you. I stand by what I said about this song in my Resistance review. It's a long epic IQ song, but that doesn't do it justice. The song starts out with a surreal keyboard section that lasts a full 3.5 minutes of clowny circusness. This builds tension so perfectly. It's the kind of thing that creeps up on you, and suddenly it's gone beyond 11, and bang! The song proper started, and it's mind-blowing. The keyboard guitar combo that IQ do better than anyone is shown off to its fullest here, and there are also soaring guitar solos galore, like 5 of the fuckers. All of the while, Nichols paints a landscape the likes of which no one else can do justice, giving off a vivid image of something monumental, like a volcanic eruption, or a meteorite hitting the earth. The song is both a fitting end and a chance for a new beginning, and for as long as I live, this will remain one of my favourite songs of all time. And that's the end. If you have questions, suggestions, or recommendations, feel free to post them in the comments. I actually have a project in the works that will come out this year, maybe. The idea is half reaction, half music, talk, and it won't be just me. It won't be just me this time, I swear. I swear. But for now at least, I'm Rasalcon. I'll see you next time.